Back. All right, so we get into a conversation with Cathedral Credit Union with Gabby Abdool. She is manager of Cathedral Credit Union. And good morning and welcome.
Good morning. How are
Very
you?
good.
Good
All right.
morning.
We are getting into a very realistic conversation dealing with relationships. We all know love can be a beautiful thing, but let's face it, money can complicate even the best relationships. Today, we are talking about something that does not always come up early in dating. When you're nice and you're pretty and thing, you're talking all that kind, but you don't talk money, and you absolutely should. The financial pitfalls that can deter the relationship or hurt the relationship, and other areas. Whether it is getting to know someone new, already long-term partnership, understanding how money plays into the relationship and the dynamic keys or the how it can fluctuate. It could get better or get worse.
Yes.
So money is never really a conversation in relationship. How important it is when you start dating, you start to get serious when you discuss money, and how important it is to have the conversation.
Money is very critical because, of course, money is essential. Money is essential in living and moving forward and quality of life. So money is critical.
Very good.
Yes.
Right. So at what stage, I'm going to ask you though, because I might be dating this pretty girl, like she and thing.
Yes.
She like me and so on.
Yes.
But I'm seeing some qualities that I would want to go further in the relationship, because you just know when somebody's wife material.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you would say, it is
Or husband material.
or husband material. And
Yes.
so the compatibility is there.
Yes.
So when is advised to have the financial contribution or conversation in terms of investments and plans that I have going forward, and I want you in it?
Right. I think at the point where you decide that this person is who you would like to spend the rest of your life with, this is the person who you would want to have a family with. So that is at the point where you decide, let's have this conversation. And it is important to kickstart the committed part of your relationship with this conversation, because it will dictate how well you move forward, right? So there are some red flags. There are some red flags in a relationship that
And what
you
are the
ought
red
to look
flags
out.
when the conversation of money comes up?
Right. So when you start this conversation, if the person refuses to disclose their financial situation, that's a red flag. It is important that the conversation at that point is open and honest. What bills do you have? What expenses do you have? Who do you owe? Are these expenses formal expenses? Because, and I'll tell you something, there are some expenses that are very informal. And that might be the $1,000 mommy lent you, or your brother lent you, or your cousin, your father, right? Those are the informal ones that TransUnion will not pick up. They are the formal ones, of course, where it's institution-based. So it's lent to you by an institution. And these things can always come up in a TransUnion report for the credit unions or the financial institutions that have the reports with the credit reporting companies. So once a person refuses to disclose who they owe, that's a red flag. And how much they owe is a red flag, because that is important. You can owe one institution $1 million, or you can owe several institutions several millions of dollars, right? That's one. Two, signs of financial irresponsibility. You impulsive spending. You spend whenever you feel like spending. You don't think before you spend. You
don't discuss.
You don't discuss it. Unpaid bills. If you are late in paying your bills and they are unpaid, that is also a red flag. And then you have lack of planning. You don't plan at all. You just spend.
Okay. We could ask a question: at what stage in the relationship does this communication about finances come? They could be dating for 10 years or less. They could be engaged. And I want to tick off which is when that conversation of your finances become part of the relationship, because that is critical.
Yes.
It can't be a date to a couple of months and then I start to talk
No,
finance. So let's talk about the status of the relationship that
Yes.
requires you sitting down and having a plan for your finances going forward.
Well, I would say when you are serious about the person, but if once you decide that this is who you want, and this is before the engagement,
All right.
before the engagement, I will not, and this is my personal view, of course, I will not be engaging anybody I do not know about their background and their finances. Those things are very critical to me. So the moment I see that we are moving on to the next stage, and I would dare say, the old people say, what you see in the day, don't wait for the night. So I would wait. I will really hesitate to take a relationship through intimacy and all these things before I know certain things.
fine.
And one of them is definitely finances.
All right. Let's stay there. There are those in relationship who believe my money is my money and your money is your money. There is no collaboration in terms of financial planning, in terms of whether it's investment and what have you. And in some cases, it's a married couple.
Yes.
Let's speak to the importance of sharing the dream and in some cases have to share responsibility. And notice how I said it. In financing or financial planning.
Yes.
Bring that into perspective because a number of couples suffer because they don't combine their financial resources. Let's speak to that.
Well, I'm happy that you brought that up because the scenario you brought up is a relationship that is already that is already there. So you're talking about a married couple. So I'm happy about that because that is the reality. A lot of us get ourselves into things and it's only afterwards it's disclosed. Okay, so your money is your money, my money is my money. That, of course, is a point of view, and to some extent, it is true. However, when you are married, you assume responsibility for each other. That's how it works, right? And depending on where you borrow this money, you can leave that person in a lot of debt. So then your money cannot be your money, and my money cannot be my money. If it affects you in that way.
In a marriage, eh?
In a marriage.
All right. So let's get the perimeters of responsibilities. And I say perimeters, or let's get to the pillars of responsibility. Right? Yes. So I decide I will take the loan as the husband. And we'll get to interest rates and all that.
Yes.
And the wife have to take care of the bills. So let's speak about separating the responsibilities financially.
Yes.
Because in most cases, it's either the husband or the wife take the loan,
right.
And then or whoever has to take care of the bills, send the children to school, you name it. Let's speak on what credit union, what Cathedral Credit Union offer in terms of advice to couples in that regard.
Good. So most times you're already married, you come to the credit union for financial advice and support. The first thing we do, we will assess the expenses. And in some cases, we have done it, even though the membership base is individuals. We don't have joint accounts, right? It is individuals. Sometimes the couples will come in and, because I have had a few of that in Tobago as well, where they will disclose all their financial details. Depending on what it is, we may advise a debt consolidation, and especially if you have growing children and you have to pay for education, we do have an educational loan that you can actually take to support your household. This loan is $100,000, and you can send your children to school. You could do a course, and we would give you the money in tranches. Because some of the institutions, that's how they take their monies. You have to pass a term. Once you pass these subjects, then you go on to the next term. So we will give you the money in tranches up to $100,000. Right. So you can do things like that and coordinate the bills. So the husband would be maybe required to pay the loan, or the wife, whoever feels more comfortable doing it that way. And then, of course, you have your other bills, like your cable, your internet. Those things are important. You will have your groceries, food, and the dynamics. And culturally in Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of us still live in extended households, where you may have your mother living with you and she would contribute to the bills, and you may have another relative. And those things ease the financial burden of this married couple, married or unmarried, because
Right.
common law as well.
Common law, yes.
It is affecting
Let's
them.
stay there, because in some cases, yes, the husband is seeing about the loan, and the wife salary may not be able to meet all the bills.
Yes.
What do you do in that circumstance? Is it that you look for a side hustle, if it could make that and so on? But let's speak to what the credit union offers and what
Yes.
support is there for those people with the ambition that, okay, the loan is to buy the piece of land,
Yes.
and we want to build. However, we barely could have a beer. The husband can't drink a beer because there's no free income or
Right.
extra income.
Yes.
Let's speak to that.
Well, sometimes that happens. Sometimes we get ourselves between a rock and a hard place, let's face it. And for a time, and this is where the sacrifice comes in, you may have to, as the old people say, suck salt, right? And cut and contrive. The credit union, our function is financial counseling. And then, of course, at Cathedral, we will not give you a loan that will hurt you or frustrate you. We will not do that. Our interest rates are carefully crafted and are very low. And this is because of our vision, because we believe that we have the financial solutions that would help all individuals, all our members. And in moving forward, that is how we craft our specials on loans and our programs, whether it be lending or investments, right? Once the couple comes and we advise them, this is what is necessary to get you out of the debt or for you to breathe, it is now the onus of the member to adhere to some of these things, because what we have done, and I'm going to speak specifically to Tobago,